I'm just sitting here writing all the. I can't read my writing. Can y'all still write in cursive? Start the day write down all the tarot people who helped me out. So that way when I get wealthy, I can help them out. We can become brothers and sisters. One day. When the haters finally stop, when God deactivate the Pharaoh spirit. So that nigga be the Jew. I be the Jews, nigga. When I was looking for you earlier to meditate, Amber Rose. I want to meet Amber Rose. I want to meet a lot of them. I want to meet Amber Rose. You can tell the money in the wrong hand today. It don't matter. It don't really matter who. It don't really matter who. Who having problems. Everybody struggling. The wrong people got money. You know, back in the day, when the wrong people got money, they instantly died somehow. It ain't like that today though. I think that's because we living so close. We already so deep in the end of time. It's like, why even bother? It's like, why even bother? I ain't gonna say, but I got a message from the spiritual realm yesterday saying a certain person with the name start with an N. My ancestor said, how can such and such be asleep? I said, I was shocked when they said her name. And I was like, I don't know, that's a good question. You know what I'm saying? They were like, your sisters across. I was like, oh man, why would she listen to somebody like that? All of them. You know what I notice about women who can hide, not this girl, I never met this girl, but women who try to hide who they are to the world underneath the jewelry, the clothes, the external experience, the external appearance. They all nasty inside, you know. And that can be sexually or just internal in general. They're just nasty inside. Fortunately, I got to be around a lot of these women because my sisters. And I always felt like there done been moments in my life that a prostitute was cleaner than the women that act like they didn't do nothing. They had bad odor, man, like spiritual odor. I could smell spiritual odor, bro. And what's a spiritual odor? An odor that the average man can't smell, but eventually it's gonna take place. And once it do take place in the physical, you won't be able to get rid of it. Now, I ain't talking about my twin, I'm talking about women that try to trick women like my twin, and like my twins, and like my soulmates. Women that have the external persona to go with this 3D world. That's why I'm gonna start a clothing line. I can't remember what I named it though. It was a nice name. I'm glad I can't remember it though. But y'all take it and start it yourself. But if I do make it, I'm gonna start a clothing line. It's gonna be a unique clothing line, and it's gonna baffle everybody because it always been here, but nobody ever thought about making a clothing line. Now, I think they did one time, but they just didn't never distribute it out, or it didn't go long. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my own. Yes, y'all like how you go from women to clothing. That's how I'm about business. I'm just talking about these women because it's amazing how I wish God would have brought somebody in my life that loved me. I don't give a damn if I was a female or a male, it don't matter. I do want to explain divine feminine though. For me, divine feminine for a masculine is a masculine. A masculine that's in his divine. A masculine. I'm balancing both. I gotta balance both. Divine feminine and divine masculine. For me, a divine feminine, a masculine that's a divine feminine, is someone that's working out of their femininity, however you say it, feminine something. But it basically means they feminine side, which means they won't be so quick to attack you. They won't be so quick to retaliate. They will be more on the side of healing, helping, and building. And they tolerate a lot. It's somebody you can lay your head on their shoulders. Someone you can vent to. Someone that's got control. You can't always vent to them, but they there for the most part when you need a shoulder to lean on. This person typically will be the person that resides in their masculine side. So, which is confusing to the neighborhood probably, because they don't know how they're gonna react because they used to the person reacting violently or obnoxiously or just emotionally. But when you're in your feminine side, trying to balance your feminine side, you make that whole, your feminine side, and you got to go through all these trials and tribulations I'm going through now was a necessity for me to balance out my feminine side. So when this season fades, I can put my feminine side with my masculine side and become one yin to yang, since my twin flame abandoned ship and went somewhere else. Uh, uh, I give a hell, y'all, but I only give a hell to break her down and to build her back up. And right now, she don't care how much hell I give her. She just go out there and tell everybody what I tell her, as if nobody kidnapped my child, nobody stole my so-called inheritance, nobody stole my identity. No, nobody kidnapped me. Nobody put me in a hole. As if nobody took my cars and vandalized my cars while I couldn't move. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? It's like, who are you? What make you so special? Like, I had to talk to, even if God chose you for real. And when I do talk to God, all he says is science. And that, and like I told God earlier, I said, that sounds like you saying I'm stuck with this person. I hate it because somebody sent that girl in my energy, bro. And they didn't mean to, neither. I think they were joking about it. They probably looked at it like we got a resemblance in attitude. And, oh my God. Whatever, man. I was talking to the ancestors today about artistic, spiritual artisticity. I really don't know what that is yet. And I don't know if I could study it, because I just heard it from the spiritual world. I don't know if it's out there. But for me, so far, spiritual artisticity is when people share so much DNA, not just through sex, but smoking devices, anything, saliva, you know what I'm saying, DNA, you know. People swapping DNA with a group of people who not on their frequency, and they get to the point where they know they need to break away from these people, but they don't. So God give them a seer heart. Okay, they got the seer heart. They got the seer heart, but they don't still want to break. I mean, they still want to stay stagnated, basically. So they are angels. Let's say they are born high vibrational beings. So they supposed to be, especially at this age, supposed to be elevated at least a high priest level, empress level, or something like that. But they still over there with the karmas. Okay. Then the DNA, the ancestors. Remember I told y'all they got to cipher through the oil, you know, physically, basically. So the overseers get tired of dealing with this person, so they just put them in like until that person pass on and move to the other side. They just throw them in this whatever, I guess, and it keep them artistic crazy. They can't never find themselves because they were so busy living in life. Cause when you hanging with karmas, you gotta adapt to a karmic. And let's say you got two karmic friends. So you're gonna have to adapt to those two karmic friends. That means you're gonna have to switch gears every time you come across these two karmic friends. So imagine if you got a gang of them. You gotta have sex with them. You gotta do all this swapping DNA with them. You know, oh my God. Well, anyway, you get into this artistic. They put you in you're in the spiritual artistic zone now. So you basically got that Alzheimer's and dementia. That disease I told you God could give people. It's like a mixture of Alzheimer and dementia. And ain't no coming back from it when they get like that. It's already hard enough to come back from a seer heart, but to get thrown off in that. So by this time, if you notice this person got these mood swings and you welcome this person in your house, like the Chinese do, they make you kick your shoes off. There's a reason for that. So You welcome this person in your house unknowingly. Maybe that person was stranded outside in the rain or something. You felt sorry for him. It's like a witch, and I didn't know witches got. You know, I was sitting here thinking and asking myself, I was like, why so many people around here got rotten teeth? Not rotten teeth, but rotten teeth in their mouth, or bad teeth in their mouth. And I didn't know that if you practice witchcraft too much, you'll get a rotten teeth. Ain't that something? So I was like, wow, that explains why all the women, the ones I know, are mainly women that got the. Well, I saw one guy, he do 8 ball of meth a day, and his teeth should be rotten. But for the most part, they women, and they got this bad teeth back there, and they look like they do witchcraft, act like they do witchcraft, and act like they consume witchcraft. And I was like, wow, that's pretty easy. It's easy and it ain't easy to detect a witch. You just go into it, grab their face, let me check your mouth. Let me check your mouth out. I didn't know that. I just learned that yesterday, I think. I said, oh man. I thought it was from because, you know, they living in an environment where they want to do drugs. So they stay in the environment where the drugs is free. And it ain't free. You're going to have to sleep with whoever's selling them drugs. And a lot of times the person who's selling the drugs, these particular drugs look worse than the drugs it's supposed to make you look. So naturally. And you just be like, how you lie yourself? That's all I. But thankfully I ain't never been the person who could share DNA like that. When I was a nympho, I was too young to understand the difference. But as I got older and I realized how sleeping with different people brought me seemed like it brought me a season of karma. I just knew when I stayed in my own lane, I didn't receive the karma. Now the problem with that is that by this time in my life, psychologically, I'm thinking I was just going crazy before I studied it and realized it was God. So I intend to get a job, get back on my feet after I balance my energy out. But after I do all that, I go back around these people and I lose everything again. So long story short, if you notice somebody who done made it to a spiritual, artistically, spiritually, or whatever, spiritually autistic, you might as well leave them outside, basically. Because if they step 1 foot in your house, you basically gonna share that karma with them. That's like, if you get a lottery, that's like going to get a lottery ticket, and you see somebody walking on the side of the road that you know real good, and you decide to give them a ride, and that winning lottery ticket all of a sudden become a bad lottery ticket. And then not only do that winning lottery ticket become a bad lottery ticket, you have a bad day, and all you did different, and the day was supposed to be good, and all you did different was pick this one individual up and put them in your energy and drop them off at home. And that's when you find out that some people are supposed to walk. Some people are supposed to not have a place to stay. Some people are supposed to go through hardship unless God sends somebody into their energy, like myself, a healer in the spiritual realm as well as the physical realm, to save you from your own demise, from self-destruction, self-sabotaging ways. But even us ain't got but one good time to set you right. And if you don't listen, like me, I get one warning with people like that. I get one chance with people like that. And if I fail, it's best that I move on. Otherwise, I take on 20% to 50% of their karma. And depending on the type of karma they got, it's gonna weigh heavy on me. And for my twin flame situation, her karma was real heavy. It was karma that I haven't buried since a teenager. So it was better for me to fall back than to continue down that road. Because if I'd have continued down that road with her, at the least I would have had to do drugs with her. Because the sexual issues that she do got, not even saying that she got diseases, the girl got sex issues though. The sex issues that she do got would be so overwhelming to me for me to even deal with and tolerate that I would have to do drugs to numb the psychological damage that she gonna do to me while I was trying to stay in a relationship with her. You know, people, even in the spiritual realm, I say she autistic, you know, warning me that. And people in the physical say she autistic. But the autisticity that I noticed in her, she didn't have it when she just stayed here with me. It's DNA swapping. She done swapped so many different DNA. That's why I said she might not have a disease. And she might have been an informant. And she probably was trying to save me. But you can't save a person like me the devil way. You gotta save a person like me God's way. Because if you try to save a person like me the devil way, you gonna hurt yourself more than you gonna help me. You get what I'm saying? So it's best that you just work on yourself first. Get yourself right first. And if I was to have to say anything to my twin flame, I would tell her to go get a job. Go get a job, seeing that one of your karma baggages that you holding is theft. Regardless if you say you steal or you take, either way it goes, it's stealing. So that's a sin. That's one of the 10 Commandments. And you done built a life on robbing people and for their identity. So with that being said, you will have to endure the karma. And as long as people keep taking you in, you really, and you know this because them witches, that's a witch way. I ain't saying you're a witch or nothing, but you move like a witch. You know this because you go into people's houses with all this damage in you which is nothing but childhood wounds. You're not healing your inner, you ain't even thought about healing your inner child. You wrote it down, you told God about it, and you told God how you felt about it, read the Bible about it, but you didn't believe in it. So you didn't never try to pursue it. And when it comes down to something that's just one of your karma bags, which is theft. So in order for you to even think about fixing that, you're gonna have to get a job at least for a year or two, even if it's just for a year or two. And you're gonna have to be stand up at that job. And not only is you gonna have to be stand up at that job, you're gonna have to work check to check if you lucky. And for about 2 to 3 years, if not 5 years. And then not only that, you gonna have to do this sober. And once you do that shit, you see how hard it is? It get harder and harder and harder. That's just off the theft. And you got a list of things you love to do that's karma ready. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a long story. It ain't working. I'd rather just stay single. And then 5, 10 years from now, if you even think about getting right and got right in any kind of fashion or form, the light gonna shine so bright that you won't even have to walk around me for me to notice. God will lead me to your light. Till then, it's just darkness. For me and you both. It ain't perfect. Because I'm already weak, and since I just came from where I came from, I'm already vulnerable and fragile in certain situations that you have to consume just so you'll have a good day and get out of the bed. I'm not dealing with that right there. Now I say all that to say this: when you get into a situation like that, fall back, because none of the energy truly is support. Yeah, let's say you know that's your twin flame. Let's say you know that's your lover. Okay, but how is the positive and the negative energy when you are vibrating with that person? Is you going down or is you going up? Every time me and her get together, I go to jail, something bad happened, cars gone, all of it. And just from dealing with her in 5 years, I lost more in dealing with her in 5 years than I ever lost in my life in any kind of dramatic situation. So even though the physical energy say that's your energy, the spiritual energy ain't agreeing with me being with that energy. With that being said, it was best for me to fall back from that energy before my energy turned me over to her energy, which is another witch move. And she knew that. If I'd have stayed vibrating with her, I would have basically relinquished my power to her and her little group. Peace of love out there.